Welcome back to the latest episode of the Key and Mang audio experience. I'm your host, Mang. As always, you're my fellow co-host, Key. Key was Gucci.
What up? How are you?
I'm chilling, I'm chilling. How are you?
I'm great. It's Saturday. I ain't got nothing planned.
You ain't
Chilling.
gonna be outside?
Nah, my outside days is over. You know how Kaylani made this song "Hate the Club"? That's how I feel right now. And you know how they be asking her now, like, "Do you really hate the club?" She's like, "No, that was at a certain time." That's how I feel right now. I hate outside. Not that I hate outside, but every time I go outside, I make bad decisions, and I just wish I wasn't there. So I'm chilling. I am outside tomorrow though. I'm going to this spot called Jacob's Pickles. Have you heard of it?
I have not. That doesn't
There's
sound like
one.
I
It's
would
not
go.
pickles. I don't like pickles, but it's I think there's one in New York City, but it's a supposedly a like place that has southern type food, and they have really good soul food, I guess, like
Okay.
southern food.
In the city or
Yeah,
in
I'm gonna go
or in Connecticut?
they built one out here, like 25 minutes away from me.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I think we about to. It's really nice outside today, so I think we about to go to like out to a pumpkin patch, and then I gotta record some like exercise videos for MLB, and then we just chilling.
A pumpkin patch. I love that.
hmm Yeah, they got me out here going to pumpkin patches, and I never thought it would happen, but here we
Yeah,
are.
I want to.
Um,
Here we are.
here we are indeed. If you had to pick to participate in one sport only, football or kickboxing, what are you rolling with?
I'm going with boxing. I feel like for a couple reasons. I think it's just more skilled than football. I also think that it's probably more enjoyable. I think it'll be more enjoyable than like these like 5 to 10 second plays over and over and over again that you have in football. And then also I think, and I was asked, I think I tweeted this and I sent it to you, like the individual sport versus being on a team sport.
hmm
I feel like I would thrive in an individual sport. Like it's just you against you. Obviously, you're in a match with somebody else, but in terms of whether you win or not, I feel like that's all on you. I think I would do well with that, and then I know my shoulders will look great as a as a boxer. I really like nice shoulders, so those are my reasons. And I like to be able to defend my. I think I'm not a fighter, but I think I can defend myself, but not in the boxing way. Like I'll do whatever I need to defend myself. But as a boxer, like your hands is a weapon, you know? That's
For
dope.
sure, for sure. I think you bring up good points. I'm going to agree with you because if I'm my build right now, like I've always said, if I were to play football, I would love to play quarterback. I just think quarterback is the most complicated position, but I also think it's cool to be able to dissect defenses and get the ball to where it needs to be. But my arm strength is not nowhere close. I'm not big enough. And plus, if I were to play like in the slot or something, if I were to get hit one time, it'd be a wrap. So I don't want to get hit like that. Even though in boxing I would be taking hits, but it's just me against somebody else and I can, figure out ways to defend myself. Sometimes you're coming down the middle and you don't see somebody coming in, if you're on the field and you get popped, like it ain't nice. It ain't nice. So I would go boxing as well.
Yeah, that's good. So this question came about because we were talking about Tua's concussions, and immediately I thought of sports that have a lot of blows to the head. So football and boxing, those were the first ones that came to my head. So today we're going to talk about should Tua be playing still, right?
Yep.
That's should Tua be playing still? I thought it was in addition to that. All right. So should Tua be playing still? And before we get into it, I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of insight into what a concussion is. So it's essentially a traumatic brain injury, technically, and it's either caused by a bump, a blow, a jolt to your head, or even a hit to your body that makes your head move back and forth quickly. So even if you don't get a direct blow to your head, say if you're in a car accident, your head jolts forward and backwards quickly, your brain is bouncing around and moving in different directions within your skull, and that's going to lead to different chemical changes, and that can also damage your brain cells. So you can get symptoms of headache, dizziness, confusion, nausea, sensitivity to light or no or noise, memory issues, fatigue, sleepiness, drowsiness, and then also loss of consciousness. So as you can see, these are um, very different symptoms that you can experience. So with concussions, it can be hard to treat and it can be hard to guide athletes specifically back into play safely. And I think that's what we're seeing with the situation with Tua. So I personally believe that Tua should not be playing still, just based on his concussion history. I think he's had three diagnosed concussions, but I think has been more than that. And I do believe that he hasn't taken ample time to recover to the sport. But you also have to consider um like high level athletes. It's kind of hard to pull them out. And I feel like there's a lot of politics that go into professional sports, like medical providers probably don't have as much say as they should when you're dealing with people who, they want to get back no matter what. So I think that plays a role. And then also we don't get the information as just spectators. We don't get the information about what return to play protocols have been used, like what their symptoms are. So we don't really know if he's being guided correctly. And based on the symptoms, it's kind of hard to say if he's ready because the symptoms could be so varied.
For sure, for sure. I think also so symptoms typically sometimes when we test for concussion in the clinic, it's more like exertion based. So you like put them on a treadmill or you put them on the bike and slowly increase your intensity. And sometimes in the early stages, you'll hit a certain threshold and then symptoms start to come on. But as time goes on, you continue to rehab and you can go to like your full, like close to your full max heart rate and you're still symptom free. But that doesn't necessarily prepare you for hopping back into a football game and where people are going to come tackling you, moving at high speeds, and being able to protect yourself and make sure that you're like fully healthy. And I think it's just hard. You mentioned like we don't know what's going on with like the neurologists and the independent doctors and how they're testing him. And I think the only way to know if someone, I feel like in football, if someone's really ready to go back is you have to hit them. But there's no hitting in practice. They got the red jerseys on, so you're not supposed to make contact with them. And the first time they're going to see contact's in the game. So how would I know that Tua is ready to come back if hasn't gotten hit in 6 weeks? And the first time she's gonna be hit is gonna be tomorrow, Sunday. First time in game action. And now that he's had so many diagnosed, I don't know if he's more susceptible to them now just because of his previous history. But like with a lot of things, it's if you've had it happen once, the chance of it happening again are much higher. So I'm inclined to believe that because he's had multiple, like it's gonna be way easier for him to sustain another one. And I think now that he's gotten his bag, he got the big extension over the summer. That can take care of your family, that can take care of your kids' family. I would just walk away. Now, if I was playing, I had my rookie deal still, and I hadn't got the second header, I understand why you would still want to make sure you can take care of your family. But getting the big bag, I don't know if I can if he can physically prepare for that outcomes of what it's going to take, what it's going to be like in practice until he gets in the game. And that's a scary situation to be at because when he's gotten concussed, like his symptoms continue to get worse and worse, and the fencing signs and the rigidity and some of those like scary things you see on the court, you're not going to replicate on the field. You're not going to replicate that in practice. You can't replicate that in practice because you don't want to risk something happening to him. And so I think with that for all those reasons, I would say I would decide to hang it up. But like you mentioned earlier, also it's been his whole life. That's all he knows is playing football. And with the game taken away and outside of his own terms, then is he going to be okay with that afterwards? And we don't know the answer to that question. It might be a no, and that's why he's continuing to push.
But I think it's hard, and I feel like it might just get to a point where We don't know how to return people back to these high level impact sports. So they may just say once you get a certain number, like you can't play because we don't we don't know if he's taking the appropriate time to heal. And then if you get another concussion before the first one heals, or before the previous one heals, you can like die on impact. So it's called like second impact syndrome. So that's something as well. So that's probably why they can't just hit him in practice, because if you hit him in practice or hit him in a return to play situation and he gets another concussion, you're always going to have the people who are like, well, you should have never did that. But isn't it best to expose somebody to what they're going to see in the game before they get to the game? But with that, you can't. So I feel like it's just going to come down to eventually they're just going to say once you get this amount of concussions, you can't play just to be safe.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's also like we're not Tua's medical advisors. Like he has a whole team going through the situation with him, explaining the pros and cons. But I feel like with him, it's just I don't know if you like, what if another one happens and in the game and he does not respond well? Like, God forbid something catastrophic happens. That's not a good look for the NFL. The NFL is not going to want that, and they will change the rules based on because so maybe it is going to be something like that, but you don't want to see like something like the Damar Hamlin situation that happened last year or 2 years ago. You don't want a situation like that on the court where an athlete could potentially lose their life by playing the game. And I think you got to think long and hard about how you're allowing players to come back to such a physical, violent game. Um, but I think it's a hard situation. It's a hard situation. Can't imagine what Tua's going through. Listening to the media and like people asking if he should retire or if he should continue playing. His teammates are checking on him, wanting him to be okay. His family is probably scared, worried about him. He's probably scared. But when you listen to him talking to the media, he got to talk like I just want to play. Like I've done all the research I want to do, but. I imagine it's a scary situation. I think if I were in it, I would think long and hard about coming back and is it worth it for me in the long run? Like there's a chance that I might have some memory deficits down the line. There's a chance my function might decrease, but you could say that about anything. So I think he's just weighing the pros and cons, and I hope he's able to ball out and continue playing for as long as he wants to. But just with his history, I'd be a little more concerned. Or I am a little more concerned.
I'd throw the towel in, but it ain't up to me.
Yeah, I hear you. Plus, it helps having 93 million guaranteed on your contract like that. You can do a lot with 93 mil, so it would make the decision a little
Well,
easier.
if you gave me 93 million today, I'm throwing a towel in on everything except my business. Like it's clipped. I'm not going back to work. I'm not doing nothing. You ain't got to, I'm not even, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I just don't, I don't understand I don't understand the pros to it. Like I can't see it, but it's not for me to see.
Yeah,
So.
no, that's his decision to make. That and I hope he's able to play as long as he wants to and stay healthy and decrease his brain injury risk. But it is scary situation.
Yeah, I ain't got
Now,
nothing else to say,
if y'all were
but
Tua, y'all listen, if y'all were Tua, would you guys go back and try and play, or would you consider retiring and just call it quits there? Let us know, and we'll catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.